Hey, thanks for joining us on BSN Live. Today is Marketing Monday. And hey, are you doing live videos? Today's episode, we're talking about the 3 things you need to be doing and thinking about when you're doing your live videos. And we're going to start right now. Thanks for joining BSN Live with Ben and Maddie. Here we talk about all things small business, marketing, lead generation, and more. Stay tuned. That's the thing, folks. As I'm putting this video together, I realized that we had a problem with the audio. Thanks for struggling through it. There are some great nuggets of information in there from Ben and Maddie, but I do apologize ahead for the audio problems. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Hope everyone's well. Hopefully you're all recovering from the weekend with whatever you did. I hope it was a great one. I ended up out on the Las Vegas Strip on Sunday. I thought it was important to take my son out there to get a little bit of history. Something that I hope will never happen again in our lifetimes. This pandemic wiping out the Strip, basically, as far as traffic, people interacting. When I go down to the Strip, I don't know about you, Ben, but when I go down there and play tourist for a little bit, you're bumping into everybody. It's hard to get a picture because everybody's walking in front of you.
My friend. Yeah, I think that was a good experience for your son, just to go out there for a walk, and that's going to be a memory in his brain where you never know, like 10 years from now, he's going to be on the Strip, and he'll say, man, I remember when the Strip was like there was nobody here. That's going to be a story, right? Versus like I've never seen the Strip empty. That was weird to me. It was very uncomfortable because I work on the Strip, man. I see people, thousands and thousands of people. They bumping into people. You got to. And I saw your pictures, man. Those were really good pictures that you did in the video. That was awesome. So thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, and people in the Live the Good Life Las Vegas trying to member in that group, join that group. That's a really fun, great group about Las Vegas. And we're always looking for content creators. And your video was really, really good, man. Just to walk through there, and people really appreciate that information. People love the city from all over the world. And when they see things like that, you can see people are reaching out. They're like, "Hey, Matt, like, wow, they're just
what's it like down there? Who's down there? And it was really hard to describe. I was trying to think of words, to put into it, but it was a very eerie feeling. But you know what? I'm a soldier, man. I'm a survivor. As bad as it ever is, man, I'm always gonna, start on the comeback story because we're going to come back from this.
Yeah.
I'm already itching to start opening businesses up. I think that's going to start happening really soon. I saw a really interesting thing on Netflix last night. Anybody with Netflix, they had a new, they have the Explained series. If anybody watches those, they have Coronavirus Explained. And it's their explanation of the coronavirus in like 30 minutes. I thought it was good.
All right. Good. All right, everybody. So it's Marketing Monday. It's Monday, our favorite day of the week. How we love to start this day. And the reason why I love Marketing Monday, is because all weekend we're testing things out, right? We're out there, like we're testing things out. We're seeing the results. We get to see if that worked, that didn't work. All the crooks and crannies, right? And you and I, we have conversations. I'll call you and I'll tell you my thoughts. Hey, like, and you'll reply back, and we were like, well, we agree on things. We're like, you're right. That wasn't. And one of the things that we're talking about Marketing Monday is the new live video features that are happening, right? The Messenger is going to be the new thing that's coming out with the live video option feature. So right now we're doing our live cast on Zoom, but we talked about how Facebook is now coming with the new, you can have a guest, right? We're still doing Zoom because we can bring multiple people right now in the recording, and there's this really great marketing tool. Don't get me wrong, but Facebook now is going to do the guest. So we were testing it out, and there were some great things that worked for me this weekend, and there were some things that didn't work for me this weekend, and I noticed that. So let's go to the great things, right? It's you can invite a guest. That's very easy. You have to be on your friend list to invite that person. So I don't think you can invite anyone random. Hopefully that might change. I'm not sure. I think they do have to be, or maybe I haven't had anyone that's not a friend as a guest yet. So we'll test that out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to play with that a little bit.
Yeah, but the thing about it though, it was great to have a conversation, just like you're using FaceTime, and you can actually have a conversation, and you can share some information and value. If you want to have a meeting or whatever you want to do, you can do that on your personal page, on your Facebook group. I think this is one way people are going to start doing Facebook groups, and we talked about Facebook groups because they can have a conversation with their team members in the group, and people can watch the conversation and watch the replay. Or if you're doing coaching or whatever's going on, whatever, if you're selling and marketing a product, right? So it's going to be great because people can have that conversation. Here's the downfall, guys. That the microphones are very, very sensitive. We talked about this, right? Yes. I think there's a lot of people that don't understand how to have a conversation on Facebook Live or FaceTime or whatever. And we talked about separate times, right? If you're talking with your friends and family and we're having a chit chat conversation and you're chewing gum, yeah, maybe you don't want to share that on the Facebook Live, right? Maybe you want to keep that separate. Maybe that's just through the messenger. But however, if you're going to have a professional call from either end, you do have to respect others. The sensitivity of the conversation. The microphone can pick anything up. The professionalism aspect of it, and I think you had a really great explanation. We won't go into detail of what, but if you had Maddie, if you had like a conversation, if I asked you, hey, like, how am I going to start doing live videos or my conversation? What would be like your explanation? Or, we talked about professionalism and all that. So I had to talk to you, and you really grounded me on you know what? You're right. That's it. So go ahead and go for it, my friend, because you explained it way better than I.
No, whenever you're talking to somebody, I mean, if I'm live, I feel like I'm engaged in whoever's on the other side. So I want to, if it's in a professional conversation, I want to make sure I'm in a area that I'm controlling the environment. We all have certain things that happen in our lives, especially now that we're at home working most of the time, but we've been doing this for years anyway. So you really want to control your environment. You don't want to, have anything that would be interrupting your mic. That's one real big thing for me is the mic, because it is so sensitive. So when you are having that conversation, if nobody can hear it through the microphone or because of those noises, there's no sense in having it as well. And then the other thing really is focus on the conversation. If you have outside things going on, it's really hard to focus on the conversation. If you're trying to have an engagement with somebody professionally, you need to be able to make sure you're getting the information you need from them. That means asking correct questions, but also hearing and understanding what they are answering, so you know how to solve those problems. And if you're, again, struggling hearing, struggling with focus, struggling with the environment, makes all those things more difficult.
Yeah, I totally agree. One of the other things that I'm noticing with people, and we're not, I don't want to be like that negative guy, right? Like, oh, this is the wrong thing to do. But I do. So I do have work. I'm working. I do have other meetings on my we're using Microsoft groups, right? Or Microsoft, I forgot what it's called again. Is it Microsoft Groups?
No,
Teams. Microsoft Teams. Yeah. So we're using Microsoft Teams, and we do have, there's the team leader that they're doing the communication, the conversation, and there's a mute button on there. So you need to know when you're not talking, that mute button needs to be off, because man, there's some weird stuff. And especially if you're in a meeting with like 15, 20 people, usually the person that's running the team can turn it off can shut everyone's up. But the thing is, though, people are involved in the conversation. And if this is your employer or if this is your team or whatever the situation is, you need to make sure that mute button's off and you're just listening. Because let's say you drop an F word, the TV, your phone rings, or something happens. I've seen that. I've heard that. And I've even heard people like, phone. Yeah. and it doesn't look good. It's very unprofessional. So we're talking about professionalism, and you're right, controlling your environment. So you do have to secure yourself in a quiet area and have an area where you're going to have conversations, and let your family members know, let your people know, hey, I'm going to be in the other room when the door is shut. When the door is shut, that don't open the door. I'm doing something. I'm working, or I'm 15, 20 minutes. And
I have a sign on
yeah.
my door. It's got I got a little logo on there. It says GSD, and it's getting shit done. If this door is closed,
Yeah.
don't open it.
Exactly.
A sign for when he's gaming and his door is closed, don't open it.
When my girls are door, I have 3 daughters. When their doors are closed, I'm not gonna barge in. I'm like, hello.
Oh well, you got it's a little different.
I'm like tenderly knock the door. I don't bang hard. Like,
right. You want to be able to when you're having an exchange in whatever the manner is to be able to have that good conversation. And if you're struggling through the conversation, just say, hey, you know what? Right now is maybe not the best time, or maybe you're catching somebody, or they're catching you when you're going into a meeting, out of a meeting. You're at the park with your loved one, whatever. Maybe a quick text back, or hey, I wanted to answer and just say, hey, I got your call. Can we talk to you in a few minutes? I'm taking a few minutes with my family. We all know every lead is super important, but everybody knows we got a family, and we need that time. And I know I struggle with that with my family time. That's a huge struggle I have with me. If you talk to my wife, it's one of the arguments we always have. But set yourself up to win on a conversation.
Sure, absolutely. I think a lot of people get so excited because and I was at fault too, man. I totally tell you, when you get excited because someone calls you back for a sale or a call back or a text, and you're like, can we talk? And you're like, you want to really, and a lot of people do this on their car, on their phone. I see this a lot happening when we're out too, and people think that they need to take the call. They don't necessarily have to always take the call. You can text them and say, hi, thanks, I appreciate the call. I'm currently in the meeting. Right? I'm currently and this creates posture. When we talk about posture, meaning that this sets you up to be people like to be involved with busy people. Okay. That's just kind of, I've noticed that people, momentum. When I
absolutely.
Yeah. And I am busy. That's the really thing. I'm busy doing other things, and it's not necessarily, but someone says, hey, you know what? Can we plan to call you in 20 minutes where I can, and if you have set aside a text and say, where we can talk and have a conversation, then yes, people will respect that. You can sit in the car, close the door, and then have a talk versus you're at the dinner table, right? And the kids are this happens all the time. I can't have a conversation at the dinner table with my wife, especially when my wife is there, right? The kids. And
you're sleeping on the couch. Yeah.
I'm sleeping on the couch. So yeah, that's out of respect. But the thing is, though, that's out of respect, and I guarantee you, the conversation is going to be 1,000% better versus you trying to give information. Now, there's a difference between if you just want to, like, if it's a yes or no or something, if it's life or death, or hey, I get those conversations do need to happen. But when it's an introduction, if it's a new call or someone you're not on your caller ID, or those calls can wait, man. I'm telling you, you're how many calls have we wasted in our lives from taking that call and said, I should have never picked up that phone?
We have.
It's happened.
I know we preach as realtors, and I know there's realtors that watch us as well. Speed to lead is a huge, huge thing for us because everybody's on the internet. You get that lead.
Sure.
I get that, and there's a certain time and place for that, but you've got to keep that time for your family. Honor that and respect that. But I mean, we're not really talking about that. I think we'll just talk about when you're in those conversations and
sure.
just about what's around you. I've always subconsciously just trying to think of what's going on around me, who's next to me, what's my backdrop look like. Just kind of condition my head to think that way. I was filming something on Saturday, and my wife was in the backdrop, and she was moving kind of slowly. And I said, honey, let's go. Let's pick it up. You're in my backdrop. I need you to get out of my shot. Whatever it is,
sure.
And think of that. There was somebody cutting grass down the street. I said, hey, that's going to pick up on the mics. Just things that you're subconscious of.
Sure. Yeah. Now, one of the things I did notice is, for example, let's say you're having a conversation with the client or customer, and you're going to step outside. And this has happened to me a few times, where or in the meeting, right? They want to go outside. the landscaping, the
Right.
lawnmowers, and the microphones pick that up, man, so loud. It is so loud. It could be like the house over, and you hear this that sound, right? And you're trying to have a conversation with someone. You're trying to explain the features, and you're trying to have a great. I'm telling you, you're like trying to explain this. This is a good. The magnet works really, really well, and it's gonna. And then all of a sudden, that big sound comes in. It's like it loses emotion. When you're selling, you're using emotion. You're making people feel good. You're talking to people. Your charisma, your attitude, your smile. Very, very important. And if you lose that, that's why we have. That's why we have to have fun. We joke around. You have to have jokes. Always. But we have to. The smile is very important. And if you lose the smile, and also too, if you lose patience, I think you have to work on your patience. And if, let's say, for example, people will see your facial expression, and if the other person is not expecting, you have to ask that person, hey, you know what? Let's continue the conversation when time is right. I'm so sorry. It looks like things are going on, but I really have a lot of great information. I really want to share this information with you. There's this great info you cannot lose this information, and reschedule the conversation. And that person doesn't want to do it, that person was never going to buy. They were just wasting your time. I guarantee it. People that are really serious, they're going to respect that. They're going to go, oh, okay, you're right. It is kind of wild over here. Let me go step away in the room and we'll have a conversation. Thank you. And then great. And then you're
standing in the middle of it. You don't hear it. You don't realize your environment, but how it comes across.
Yeah. Yeah. And be thankful for them. And that's when we talk about the appreciation and the gratitude. Thank them. Say, hey, you know what? I appreciate you taking the time to step aside and having the conversation. And that's why we always be thankful. If you just all of a sudden start pitching all of a sudden you start having to talk, they're going to be like, okay, this guy's just trying to sell me. But if you say, hey, you know what? I appreciate you stepping away, or I appreciate you taking the time to have a conversation with me. I know you're very busy, but it's only going to be 3 to 5 minutes. Or 5 minutes, right? And that's it. And then you go for the 5 minutes, and it may not even go 5 minutes. It may be a 20-minute conversation, and that's when you know you have it. But the thing is, because they're asking questions, and now they're engaged with you, and 3 to 5 minutes 20 minutes will seem like it's 3 to 5 minutes, and all of a sudden, we could talk about getting the sale going, but that's the conversation you really want to have. That's when you start to smile.
That's when you're getting those questions, and that's when you're really getting to the root of the problem. That's awesome.
Exactly. And you and I, it happens all the time. We always have these conversations that we have when we talk. We're like, oh man, it's already 30 minutes. It seemed like it was only 5 minutes, and that's. Or you and I, we're like all the time, and those are the kind of conversations that that things are working well, right? But if you're bored and you're not engaged, and you're trying to, you're not. I don't know if I can't find the word, Maddie. What do you? What am I trying to tell? What am I trying to say
when
here?
You're not engaged.
Yeah. You're just not. Yeah, you're not into it.
To me, so if I'm in the middle of something, like if I pick up the phone and the conversation may go longer than it's expected. I see this happening with me, and I'm trying to rush things out. It's very difficult for me. So no matter what you do, you want to make sure you have your time, but just honor the time, I think, is what you're saying, and focus. If you're going to be on that conversation, I think the best thing you can keep in your mind is that you're standing face to face instead of over a phone.
Sure, absolutely.
So when you're engaged with them and you're asking the questions and answering the questions, you know what the client needs.
Yeah, exactly. Man, there's a lot. This new Facebook live feature there's so much. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's so much you can do with it, man. And we're testing it out. And I want to give a special invitation to my friends and the people that are in the group, in the Buy Sell Network group, to reach out to us, Matt and I, and we can have a conversation with you. You've been doing it. Oh, and then let's talk about your. We'll do that. We can have a conversation. I want to help people like JoJo, people that are putting value in the group. We want to have conversations with, help you. This is our time. We talked about that. About just sharing a little bit of information, helping you with your. But we'll have to do it. We're going to only do it on
On live.
in the on lives. We'll do that in the groups.
That's how we want to answer your questions, because we know the
That
questions that you have are similar questions that other people had, that we had, and we may not know the answer. Maybe we got to figure it out together or talk it out. Ben and I do that all the time, and over the phone, and we do it over video and talking things out. So when you're
sure.
connecting with us, yeah, let's set that time up so we can get on, not on a call, but on a
Yeah,
video where we can do it Facebook Live, and we can figure out and answer the questions for everybody.
sure, absolutely. And it's the same. It's going to be the same formula as if you were going to meet someone, a business conversation. It's the same thing. You have a conversation. You text them, "Hey, when can we have a talk?" Okay, great. Okay, I'm testing all that out this weekend. Great. I'll be on it. We'll be on at this time. And then great, you test it out, and you invite them in, and then you start work, and then you start doing your thing. So it's the same thing as if you were going to have, let's say if you had I always use, yeah, if you had, let's say you're a hair person, right? You're a hair cutter. You're going to have the conversation. The client's going to want to send you pictures, or maybe they want to do a FaceTime conversation. You say, great. You're going to have a face-to-face live. She's going to try to explain to you what's happening. That way you can prepare yourself when you're ready to meet her, or she's her first time. Then you're going to say, okay, great, Miss Johnson. I exactly know. I have the colors ready for you. I have the right equipment for you. Okay, great. Can you just turn around? You're like, okay, great. Thank you so much. And you're ready. Dude, you're not going to be like 10 times ready rather than not knowing what to expect, right?
Right.
So it's this new formula that people are using. The live video conversation, this is a great marketing tool. People are really going to appreciate the fact that you are not wasting their time. And I think people their time to be wasted. So people want things to be effectively done, right? Especially with technology now.
Right.
So take it to the technology. And it might even happen where people just send you a live video and say, okay, great. And then that's okay. But the thing is, to learn how to use those tools, as we'll call it marketing. And that's marketing yourself in a way where you are ahead of the game, and people will appreciate that.
And you're going to elevate your professional appearance as well. So when you're doing it, and that's something we've implemented. I mean, we've bought different equipment. We put different things into place to make sure that when we're doing this for you, and Ben sounds clear, I sound clear, and that's what we want to do for you. So as you're doing the things that Ben was just saying, and I'll figure out how to point at you correctly one of these days, once you start putting those things into play, you'll see how much you start elevating. And when you start,
sure.
And it's not a act as if, but you are that professional. You know, for me, I'm a licensed professional. You know, cosmetologist, Ben was talking about a moment ago, licensed professional. You want to stand there, and then you want to exude that out of you, out of your personality.
Absolutely. One of the things that you did really well, we're talking about Marketing Monday again. It was your video with the ozone, Elwood. Yeah. That was a great video. You did a live. That was on Friday or Saturday?
Saturday morning, yeah.
That live video. So I'll let you explain, but let me just show you tell people. He did a live video with Elwood. It was a great live video. Very, very, very awesome. Great information. And that got so much feedback on it. That was a great video. So talk about that real quick, about just that video and how you did it, and why you did it, and just do your sense on that. Yeah.
Sure. Elric came into the group not too long ago, and he started talking about his business. And really not really as much as business, what he was passionate about, because he saw something before the rest of us did, the general public, as far as this pandemic coming. And he wanted to start a business that would service disinfect and help clean and prevent this virus or other viruses like it from occurring. So he came on the group. We asked him some questions about engagement, and he was nervous about going live, but man, he did it right out the gate. Explained very well what his business did in disinfecting homes, not cleaning homes, disinfecting homes, and the different methods that he would go through, whether it was the lights, the ozone, or the hydrogen fog, whatever it was, and why each one was important. So I was intrigued from that first conversation. I've been out in the public a little bit more than normal. I'm a real estate agent. Plus, I have my We Got Your Back group. That's a group of people here in Vegas that are helping people that were caught without. So if you are caught without, check my group out there. But we're not talking about that right now. But really, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. But really, I've been out and about more, and I really wanted to take the extra steps for my family to be safe. So I talked about it with my wife. She's like, yeah, man, this is a great idea. So I had him come over on Saturday and actually put everything into work. And what, that's what this is all about. Not that every business that we come across, we're going to do business with, but this was something that was important. Right now it's on point with COVID. And, he was actually trying to get his message out saying, hey, I want to cut my prices in half to help all frontliners and first responders. So I wanted to show him, going on their live, helping him, not helping him or showing him the platform to explain his product. And I know I didn't say that correctly. So somebody can see it. That video, we shared it out to other groups, our private groups, or our personal platforms and everything else. And we actually got some negative comments on there, which were actually great comments. So don't ever get and I think Ben's always a master of this. Don't ever get frazzled at bad comments. Engage back, whether you're being a little snarky, having a little sense of humor. But the one comment in particular was, how could you even let somebody in your home to disinfect it? That doesn't make sense to me. Not verbatim, but I said, you know what? That's one of the great questions I had. And Elric can answer that, but this is what he did. And I sent a picture in the comment of him in his gear, full hazmat suit with the mask and everything. So I think that, even that negative, we were able to turn into a positive, because really he took every precaution I could ever imagine him taking. He went through my home, and it was amazing. You could smell the difference.
Sure.
So it was a great experience to have that and be able to showcase 2-3 weeks ago what he was trying to implement, and he executed it on Saturday.
Sure. Man, it was a great video. It was great. It was good information, and it got a lot of engagement on there. And that's the whole goal, is to get the engagement, and so you can have the conversation, so you can give the value and then make the connection, and then you can do what you need to do. So that was amazing, man. And people do appreciate that when you do that for them, especially if it's for business. I notice when I meet people and I'm doing business with them, if it's a live video or something, we have a conversation, they love practicing. And a lot of people are scared still, man. It's crazy. But we're working with a lot of people in the group. So I said,
it's okay. Just let you know, yeah. It's okay.
It's okay. That's why we want to invite you to have a conversation in the group, have a one-on-one in with us, and just talk. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be about business, but tell us your story, your introduction, and whatever you're up to. Just have a one-on-one with Maddie and I, and we'll set aside time for you. And again, this is us practicing, so you can practice, and we can all grow better, grow bigger together, right, and better together.
Absolutely, right? That's what it's all about. And we had a great episode not too long ago with your brother, talking about engaging and talking about how to have those conversations. So go back in our episodes, either here, we are on YouTube as well. All of our shows, or almost all of them, the ones I remembered to record at the beginning, are all on there. I'm trying to get them all up there. And we also are doing a podcast as well. So if you like to listen as you're going through your day, driving or whatever, check us out on anchor.fm as well.
Yeah, we got that going. I think that's about it, my friend. I don't know if you have anything on your head. I don't know.
All these things on my head, buddy, but I think that's about it for this episode.
Yeah, we can, like I said, we can have this conversation. We can keep talking and talking. And then, yeah, and I'll be transparent with you guys. There's a lot of things that we do hold back, in certain, like, because we want to keep it towards marketing. We can, because these are conversations that go, you're right. So also too, we're also
a half hour, and we want to respect your
time. Yeah, so we're respecting your time, we're respecting our time, and we want to be keep the conversation, because we can talk and talk.
As possible.
Yeah, as soon as possible. Yeah.
I know I can spin off in many different directions, and that's why I stutter sometimes, going, "Oh man, I forgot my train of thought," because I thought of 5 other things where I could spin off, but I need to remember the road that I was on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because this is stuff we talk about, and that's how we end up on the phone for hours. So
yeah.
thank you all for spending a half hour with us on Monday morning. We really enjoyed it, Ben. Thank you, buddy. On point, absolutely great information. Thank you. Oh, I don't know if we. Oh, I thought we froze for a minute. I'm going to take us out, Ben. Thank you again. Have a great Monday, and as always, everyone, slay the day. Bye bye.
See you later, guys. Have a good day. Take care.